I'm going to use a more brutal word of it, because this is part of my presentation, how to face a president like Mr. Trump. I met Chet Noor a few minutes ago before the start of it, when Dr. Chandra said, it's not a hopeless situation, basically. But Chet Noor said, it's a hopeless situation. Who didn't know Chet Noor? There's Chet Noor there. I'm going to quote her on this particular part. Because for me, I said when President Trump on December 6th put out, didn't sign the waiver on the Jerusalem Act, I said, thank you, Mr. President, for doing that. As Dr. Chandra said, it's been happening. Congress already attributed Jerusalem to Israel in 1995, except that President Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, President Barack Obama, and Trump last January didn't put a waiver on it. On last December 6th, he put a waiver on it. So I say this is the best time. Best time, whether it's a one-state solution or two-state solution. I'm not in gist with Dr. Chandra right now. But whatever it is, I think it is the best solution for the particular right time with the Trump presidency. Why I say is that Trump seems to be very oblivious to his critics. He doesn't care. Whether it's for the Paris Agreement, when he pulled out of the States from the Paris Climate Change Agreement, everybody critiques him. He just doesn't care about it. He's very oblivious. Or whether his duel with Kim Jong-un, who has the bigger button, whether President Trump or Kim Jong-un, he just doesn't care when the world ridicules President Trump. So it is basically, he's oblivious. So in a way, it is very difficult. But again, in my opinion, I think he can be manipulated because he can contradict himself. On December 6th, when he put out the waiver, he said, Jerusalem is not off the table. The boundary can still be discussed. That was on December 6th. He said that. But when the UN voted 128 supporting the resolution with only 9 countries with President Trump, he contradicted himself because he felt very, very upset. And he said that the Jerusalem is off the table. So he is kind of president that willing to contradict himself, and that's the reason I said he can be manipulated. Why I said that? Last early November, when he visited China, he said it again and again. When he's meeting with President Xi Jinping, he will confront the Chinese president about the Chinese are manipulating the trade issue. So when they both met in Beijing, President Xi Jinping said China will invest $250 billion in US, plus they will be buying a number of Boeing jets that cost billions. When that was said, Trump seemed to be very quiet. And he said China is a good friend of US. Why? He wants to take credit of the $250 billion investment. That's how you deal with Mr. Trump. And last September, when the Prime Minister went to meet Trump in Washington, to Rajma, I just learned today that you went for a ride in Trump plane when you was in New York. Is that true? Yes, that was true. Okay, when the Prime Minister announced investment by KWSP, EPF, by Khazanah, that's the way the Prime Minister handled Trump. Because Trump like to take credits of everything. Xi Jinping did that. Prime Minister Najib did that. And again, maybe many of you did not realize that. Early November, Broadcom, which is owned by a Malaysian, a Penang-born Malaysian, Mr. Tan, he announced inside White House, with Trump behind him, he said why he is moving Broadcom from Singapore. Broadcom is the largest fiber optics company that employs 15,000 staff. 7,000 of it is in California. He said he's moving the headquarters from Singapore to California because of his appreciation that because during his student years, United States gave him a scholarship and a chance to study in MIT. So when he said that, Trump gave a big smile because he takes credit for that. But the real reason is not because of that. Why Mr. Tan said that? Because he knew how to play out Mr. Trump. The reason why he moved Broadcom from Singapore to California is because of his business strategic decision. Because Broadcom want to acquire another company, fiber optic company in US. For a foreign company to acquire a company in US, it has to go through Congress. So in order to avoid that, he moved the headquarters from Singapore to California. That's the reason. But during his presentation, during his speech, he gave credit to Mr. Trump. So that's how you handle Mr. Trump, Cik Noor. So it's not hopeless, basically. So whether it's a one-state solution or two-state solution, I think this is the best time. Tan Sri, Excellency, I think this is the best time. But you need to manipulate Trump. I'm not going to relate with the good friend of Jared Kushner. If Dr. Chandra did mention it forthrightly, because I haven't performed my Hajj yet. But I don't mind of, being barred from going to US, because this is a reality. So I would say, a few days ago, I think today, this morning, a talk between the North and the South Korea begins. And as usual, Trump took credit for it, even though he's got nothing to do with it. And he said Trump is willing to talk with Jong-un just because the North and South did not use Trump in the talk. So the same thing. When Vladimir Putin said he is willing to negotiate with Israel and Palestine, I think the Palestinians should take the opportunity, make use of it. Not the Russian that they are sympathetic to Palestine. No, I don't think so. Same thing with Russia in Syria. Not that they are with Bashar. No, I don't think so. Because it's a geopolitical game. Malaysia has done this, Mr. Ambassador, for a long time in the South China Sea. We are playing United States and also we are playing China on both sides for our own benefit. I think the Palestinians also can do the same. So there's a reason, I said it again, this is the best time. This is the best time to resolve this issue. Not to resolve it 100%, I guess, but the climate is there. Not that hopeless. I don't feel hopeless. And again, I can say that thank you, Mr. President, for not signing the waiver. Thank you, Dr. Azhar.